And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing FortressCraft Evolved Mega Factory, making some more lightweight machine housings, or lightweight PCBs. And I'm going to come over here and make my first nuclear reactor. So there's 25, 26, 27. Our first reactor is made, just enough lightweight PCBs for the job. So we're going to go back down to the cold caves because that battery is probably just about depleted. Let it load in. So over here in the casting basin, I'll show you this the quick little fix I did because the moly was way more than anything else. So I added the filters onto this one, and then I added a 2000 slot hopper on either side, set to this specific ore type. So even if it fills up with moly, it will still be able to process chromium because there's a chromium thing here and it's on its way out. So we got plenty of materials. So look at this battery, 800,000 left. So we want to beef this up a little bit here. So we're gonna build ourselves. Should I build it on top? I'm not sure if it looks at the bottom. I'm pretty sure it does. This will look like the lab, naturally. Okay, nuclear reactor generating 0, which is fine because we're going to put some fuel and some freeze-on in here. So if we look, coolant left 0, fuel time left 0. So if we throw some coolant in here, this will see that coolant as soon as it pops in a fuel. So let's look at the power, 500,000, we're draining fast. Just put one of these in here. I'm just going to put one in here. Now we are charging, and look at the power. Oh yes. Just a little bit of power going in there. 70,000 power per second. So that's all those turbines plus the 50,000 power that this thing is shoving in. And you can see the fuel time and the coolant time. I did everything I could to sync those up perfectly, but for some reason there's a 0.2 second discrepancy in between them. But it doesn't really make a huge difference. As long as you have coolant in there, and as long as you have a supply of coolant, you should be good to go. So shoved in about 3 million power into this thing. If we look at that, you can see just a massive amount of power gone in there. Should have about 3.5-ish million left, minus the bit that we used. So I'm just going to put that in there and show that this thing will charge itself up. What is that sound? Sounds like just constant. Never mind. Anyway, this should fill this up. Not a problem. And then the reactor itself will fill up. So once this is set up, we should know exactly. There it is. So now this internal buffer starts filling up. Now you want so much coolant in here, because if this thing runs out of coolant, it will explode. You will get fair warning. You will get a minute's warning before it does. But just be aware that it will explode if you're not careful. Look at that. All the turbines just shut down. Because this thing is supplying enough power for the whole enchilada there. So this thing, I'm waiting for this thing to fill up here. Again, each fuel rod is 60 seconds, and it's 50,000 power per second. So it's 3 million power for each fuel rod. So, you know, it's 1.5 fuel rods just to fill up the reactor itself. It's quite a big buffer. It's a good battery in and of itself. Even when it's out of fuel, it's got 5 million power in it, so it's plenty of power. I'm just waiting for it to fill up. And we're only filling it up half as fast because we're actually dumping half the power into the battery. Look at that. All those turbines just quit. It's funny. Yeah, all the fuel was... I was running out of fuel out here too. That is shocking. I kind of want to add a bigger reservoir up there. So we are half full now. Yeah, I kind of want a bigger reservoir of fuel coming down here. I might make this a bigger hopper than 10. That way it should fill up with more. Alright, we are at almost 3.5 million power. Like I said, this is a lot of power. This is a substantial amount of power. Now the 12 power consumers, anybody who has a question on that, you have a battery and you have 3 of these things connected. Well, it looks at every face. So this whole thing, this is 9 faces. Well, it's checking that and it's seeing 9, it's seeing the same instance of the battery 9 times. And so it's able to use the power transfer and whatever limit it is. So say there's a 10,000 power per second limit transfer. Well, that's per face. So that is 10,000, that's 10,000, that's 10,000, that's 10,000, that's 10,000. So it's seeing 12 power consumers, so it's able to deliver. Each one of these is able to dump in whatever limitation these have in it, and then it's able to dump in 90,000 plus power per second into this battery. So I always recommend having the reactor touch the battery. And this is full, so you can see the power, the timer isn't constantly going down. It's only going down when it's able to push power into it. So you can see it just slowly ebbing down. That was one of the recent changes. So we have one reactor good to go. We have a little bit of fuel over here, but now it should go a little bit slower. I wish these would turn on and augment this a little bit, because I know this is gonna run out eventually, and I really don't want to keep feeding that power. Now we need to look at cryoplasm. I really want to start clearing this cryoplasm out. It's busted through my wall, which is not a good sign. So we're gonna need to get this system going a little bit sooner. This is a good time for all of this stuff to go down, because I want to get this running here. And we're going to set up this system. Oop. And I'll explain this whole setup here in a little bit. Probably next episode I'll explain how all this is going to work. But for now, I want to get this set up and ready for prime time here. Not quite ready to do anything with the magma bore yet. I need to get out to the cryoplasm before I do anything like that. Okay, so this is ready to go. I'm going to do a little bit of a different design in this playthrough. Before I put the Dazzler here, I put the Mark IV battery on top. In this instance, I'm going to do the Mark IV battery on the bottom. And that way, when I beam power to the next stop, I don't have to worry about running into the beam as it's beaming over the top. So I died so many times because I'd be walking around here, go through here, and the beam would fire and I would insta-kill me. So I'm going to try to put the battery on the bottom this time and hope for the best with that. And I should be able to do that with the nuclear reactor because I can place that reactor just about anywhere. So we are going to start tackling the cryoplasm as soon as I get a setup ready to go. So if I go up here, see, we still have 4 power or 4 rods in there, and what is that? 3, that is 12 million power. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. And as soon as my lightweight PCBs are done, I'll be able to start this process. So in the meantime, let's get ready for the dazzlers. So we need a manufacturing plant. And let's see, defenses. I'm going to need 2 of these. What did I do about that? That imbued machine block should not be there. I changed, that was the other thing I did with the recipe rebalance. I made the Dazzler turret use the Heimel blocks. Because it's such a late game thing. It's one of the last things you research before Magma Bore, and it used the imbued block. So I don't know why this imbued block is in here. That must have leaked through something. I want 2 of those. We're going to need a whole lot of these. So I want 50 of those. Oh, those use blue? Those use blue lasers? Really? I did not know that. So let's get... No, wrong tab. One more of these. I usually use more melters than I do lancers. Lancers come in handy for tricky spots. And now for power. So I need a Mark 5. So I need 243 of these. So that gives me 1 Mark 5. And I want a couple more. I might as well build a couple more. Just because. Reasons and things. And a few more conduits. That's 11. That's 12. I like to craft them in even numbers. Okay, we have enough advanced machinery now to power a small country. So I'm not going to worry about this cryo here because we're going to be fighting it over here. And I guarantee you there's cryoplasm on the other side of this wall. So if I went out here, yeah, there's cryoplasm out here. And as soon as I open this up, it's going to get real nasty. So that's 1, 2, 3. So this is Mark IV battery. Oh, the floatiness. Okay, and I want one here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to want... I don't need the jet turbine there anymore. I'm going to put the Dazzler there. And this is going to go 1, 2, 3. These things are just epic. Build this out just so there's no crosstalk in between. And then here we're going to want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to want a Mark V battery right in here. I can sink this one into the ground a little bit. I can sink it into the ground a lot, actually. I really don't need a whole lot of this battery poking out. So let's go down. This is a 9 tall battery, and that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives me 2. That gives me 2 above. That's 1, 2, 3, 3. So if I really wanted to speed this up, I could put this in there, put that there, make this very small, put a battery, take drop none, and then just feed a little bit of power. And that should, depending on how much power you're set up, it should clear the space. Because I've been doing so much clearing, I have actually those set to just use 1 power. But by default, they use way more power. So there we go. Now we have a camel bot down here. Okay, so I need this battery here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't even know if the camel bot can pull from a battery like this, but we shall soon see. I'm gonna come over here so I don't super build over this poor guy. Yeah, I don't think he can. See, this thing sees, see it sitting here? This thing sees cryo to kill over here, but it can't fire because it's not getting any power right now, which is fine. But yeah, with this set up like this, I can now actually do a little bit of fancy work with beaming power down the middle, and that's why this is set up like this. So I can beam power straight down the middle, and this is where my melters and stuff will go, and they'll melt around a dome around this and clear a path straight in to the promised land there. Okay. So the next thing is obviously a reactor right here, and I want to get the power set up here. So if I beam power straight in right here, and this is where I use a lot of lenses. So I'm going to take these 3 out. I've got these blocked here, so I don't really need to worry about that. So this was a kind of a temporary setup here. So this one can be brick. This one can be brick. But this one has to be glass. You want to keep these filled in, otherwise you get cryoplasm that leaks down in there and it starts blocking your lasers. Okay, so I want to pick a spot here, just an arbitrary spot, and we are going to place another battery, place another laser with a lens, and that will be, actually I want to double that, and this is where a melter will go. Right on top. Whoa! Really? Nice. That is a powerful little I'm here sort of sound. Alright, so we've got our first melter, 2 dazzler turrets ready to pummel the cryo as soon as we get some power. And as such, we need to go up and grab the lightweight machine housings. So I will do that in between episodes, and that should, where's my, keep getting lost down here. It's so nice not having so much stuff down here. Surface. Plus, it gives Arthur and me a chance to recharge, because a little low on power. A little low on power, so I'm going to take some power out of there. Check out my lightweight machine housing, or my lightweight, whatever these are called. All right. Well, that will do it for this episode. And I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.